Who has the best transfer portal class in all of college football? I bet you didn't know that it's LSU because you're focusing on the playoff and all the attention. And I was just talking about that for 2 segments, but I wanted to pop one in here talking about LSU. That's Matt Moscona of Locked On LSU, your go to source for anything on the Tigers. Matt, it feels like LSU kind of snuck up and just overtook Texas Tech, just as we all would have predicted during the season as the teams battling for the top portal class. LSU that had a disappointing 9-4 campaign, and Texas Tech that had an 8-4 regular season. I mean, just how we all drew it up, right?
I'm not sure I expected Texas Tech. LSU, there is necessity and urgency, Spencer. Year three of Brian Kelly, you mentioned the 4 losses. Going into year 4, there is an urgency for this program to make the 12-team college football playoff. And I think every booster understood it. Brian Kelly, his staff understood it. And coming off the disappointment of watching Bryce Underwood flip just before signing day, really sent a lot of shockwaves through some important money people in and around this program. And as a result, you're seeing this portal class, but it feels very much like, man, the baseline in 2025 is you will make the college football playoff. And if not, that is a wholly unacceptable result after this.
Now, the Underwood move certainly came as a surprise. They add Martin Van Buren from Mississippi State, maybe as a guy to develop behind Garrett Nussmeier for a year. A move I actually like, but by the way, because I am here for kids understanding, particularly at quarterback, I'm not ready right now. Let me go find a place where I can become ready and then be the best version of myself. But do you think the Nussmeier return led to that Bryce Underwood flip to Michigan, or do you think it was just Dave Portnoy is really appealing?
Well, first of all, Martin Van Buren was a president with a long beard. Michael Van Buren is the quarterback. But very good that you know who Martin Van Buren is.
I know my presidents incredibly well. Incredibly well.
No, the Underwood.
I can't believe I did that.
I can. It's a completely logical thing to do. I mean, it's M. Van. How many Van Burens are there whose names start with that? That's completely.
These are the only 2 that I know of, and they both have first names that start with M. Nevertheless.
Bingo. No, the Underwood flip was 100% the Larry Ellison, Dave Portnoy thing. I mean, Spencer, this isn't a sour grapes LSU thing, because God bless the kid. He was offered $12 million. He should have taken the $12 million. Like, who wouldn't do that? But this was a kid who had only previously visited Michigan in the summer of 2023. He never visited the campus 30 minutes from his house since Sharon Moore had been the coach. He was at LSU's campus with his family for the Alabama game 2 weeks prior, when he said he was locked in. Listen, he had a great relationship with LSU. He wanted to be at LSU. They put a lot of resources into recruiting him, but the Godfather offer came, and I don't fault the kid at all for taking it. But LSU after that had to make sure that priority number 1 was getting Garrett Nussmeier to return. And they did, and they paid a very heavy penny to make sure that Nussmeier returned. And then they had to make sure that they supplemented their depth at quarterback, and that's why they went and signed Michael Van Buren out of the transfer portal. And, my understanding is Van Buren got north of $400K. So $400K to be a backup for a year and then have a chance to win the starting job in 2026 isn't a bad gig.
No, and you get a chance to learn behind a veteran quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier, who will have some talent around him. I want to get back to the portal class element. Why is LSU in the position they are rankings wise? Who are the headliners? Because Van Buren might be the biggest name because he's a quarterback, but it's kind of everybody else that has seen them shoot up the rankings, right?
Sure. Yeah, I don't even know that I would say Van Buren is the head of the class. Patrick Payton is a guy that a lot of people remember from Florida State. He'll be playing his 5th year of college ball. I mean, he's a guy that's got more than 30 TFLs and 16 sacks during his time with the Seminoles, 6'5", 250. I mean, he is a legit plug-and-play starter at defensive end. I mean, Spencer, LSU lost both of their starting defensive ends. They went and got 3. Jamari Butler's another from Nebraska, Jack Pyburn from Florida. 3 guys they expect to be immediate contributors. They're losing 4 starting offensive linemen. They've already added 2 starting offensive linemen via the portal. Braylon Moore, the highest rated center in the portal from Virginia Tech. Josh Thompson, another highly rated guy from Northwestern that started at both guard and tackle. The thing is, I'm throwing a lot of names. People may not know all these names. Just understand that what LSU did was they went and got guys that were 3 and 4 year starters at major college football programs that were among the best in the portal at their position. So they added 14 guys. I would, as of now, by the way, Spencer, they're not done. I would say that as of today, minimum 7 of the 14 they've added will be starting against Clemson when they play on August the 30th next year. I mean, they went and got front lines, immediate impact starting guys, not that dissimilar from what Ole Miss did a year ago.
Yeah, and Ole Miss, obviously there's been a whole debate over the last couple of months, but hey, they blew out Duke in the bowl game, so they proved it against the backup quarterback in there. But how does this all come together for LSU? Do you feel like the additions they've made make them significantly better than what they were on the field this year? Because when I watched LSU in that opener against USC, I thought they would lose that game. They did. Then they rattled off a bunch of wins. And then it was 3 straight losses, Matt, where with new defense coordinator Blake Baker in charge running that side of the ball, they allowed 35 points per game in that stretch. Have they improved enough to where that shouldn't happen again next season?
Well, they've improved enough. We'll see if it reflects in the wins and losses. See, Spencer, there's 2 ways you can look at LSU this year. So you mentioned USC. That game was tied with 8 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Right? You could have very easily won that game. They didn't. Texas A&M, you led by 10 midway through the third quarter. Then the 3 turnovers, the avalanche happened, and you lost that game. Even Florida, you controlled the ball for 42 minutes in that game and had a touchdown taken off the board because of an OPI. I mean, there's 3 games right there that were very winnable for you. The only that wasn't was the Alabama game where you got housed. The flip side of it is, boy, you were really fortunate to beat South Carolina on the road. You were really fortunate to beat Ole Miss at home. I mean, those 2 don't go your way, you're 6-6. So you split the difference, you're 8-4. It's where they landed. The thought is these additions should help you win at least 2 of those games you lost. And if you did, you're 10-2 and you'll be in the playoff. And then you look at how the draw goes. But you asked the question, do the portal additions make them good enough to prevent what happened? Yes. A 4-loss season would be, by anybody's expectation, completely unacceptable next year. This has got to be a college football playoff team in 2025.
You mentioned that they are not done in the transfer portal. Where else do you expect Louisiana State to look?
Safety and offensive tackle. So safety was by far the worst position on the team. Major Burns is out of eligibility. Sage Ryan transferred to Ole Miss. Good luck. Neither one of those guys played particularly well. They have got to add a safety, and they will. They're hosting 2 this week. I'm told there's even, third-party conversations with a starting caliber safety who's on a college football playoff team right now. So don't be surprised at all when this isn't an if, Spencer. This is not even they have got to add help at safety. It's not you'd like to. It's they will not kick off against Clemson without adding a safety somewhere. And then another offensive tackle would really solidify things. So those 2 positions, keep an eye out.
I like saying Louisiana State every now and then just to throw people off because no one calls it that. And when you hear Louisiana State, you probably think of Louisiana Tech in Conference USA. They might be in America. I don't know. Everything's all jumbled and whatnot down there. So
they're in Tech's in CUSA, and the one person who did say Louisiana State was old Papa Vern. Vern Lundquist would say, "Touchdown, Louisiana State." I'm the only one that would.
Some of the
silkiest. LSU, by the way, LSU basketball has some sick old school uniforms with script Louisiana State on it.
Oh,
dotting the I's. Check out the logo if you've never seen it. Sick throwback.
How can we get those onto the football field? Because I haven't even seen those, and I know that I need to see them on a broadcast on Saturday next year.
It'll never happen in a football. You never say never with what they do in football uniform, with all uniforms now. But go check out the throwback. They wear them. They wear the throwbacks for basketball. They're really sick.
That is excellent. That's really excellent. And to bring up Vern Lundquist as well, he is always a welcome reference on this show.
Vern Lundquist, fun fact, born the same year as Martin Van Buren, and the uniforms were worn the same year that Martin Van Buren was president.
Oh, and I'm just sad that he will not be at the 16th green at Augusta anymore come April. Matt Moscona, Locked On LSU. Matt, thanks for the time, my man.
You got it.
Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. And until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.